Hi, and welcome to XR for Work. This is Rick, and I'm your host here at XR for Work. XR for Work is the show where we explore the immersive products, platforms, and applications and help you evaluate and make informed decisions in meeting your spatial computing needs for your professional life and your business. Today, we're going to be taking a look at one of the growing number of webXR apps designed for training and education in the workplace. And we're going to look at a product called eNetReality. But before we're there, let's get our commercial out of the way and remind you that you can reach XR for Work at xr4work@gmail.com, and to have you stop by our Facebook group, XR for Work, where we gather professionals and business leaders and developers all around the topic of XR for the business and professional user. Follow us on Twitter at XR for Work and reach out to us over on LinkedIn, Rick Castile and Nicholas Johansson, the partners here at XR for Work. And with that, let's dive in and talk about eNetReality. Again, eNet is one of the growing number of web-based education and evaluation tools. And I'm really going to emphasize the evaluation part here with eNetReality, because in addition to its authoring capabilities, it has a very, very powerful set of validation tools to ensure that your student actually got the information that you intended for them to receive by going through the immersive experience. And so eNetReality is a no-code platform, drag and drop, with the ability to use many different authoring tools. And we'll go through that during the presentation here today. You can see as you're watching the loop here in front of you that it's used a lot in the construction and industrial training arena. But certainly can be used for almost any scenario that you might think of where you need to put a team member, an employee, or a student in a specific location or operational area and have them understand the components, the tools, the location that they're in, and be able to ingest information about their role and the procedures involved in operating in that particular location. So who is eNetReality for? Well, within an organization for education and trainers, for schools and higher educations and businesses looking to improve their training program. And I know, for instance, in the healthcare arena where I work, that training programs and the ability to validate that your students met certain requirements is very important. And I think eNetReality really gives you what you need in terms of being able to track and validate knowledge. So how do you use it? Well, on your desktop in the web browser, you're going to create a project. Within that project, you're going to use 360 photos and videos to set the stage. And then you're going to customize the student's experience by guiding them through the knowledge requirements that they have for getting through that particular experience. They're then going to get assessment questions that's going to give you feedback in terms of being able to assess how well they learned the topic in front of them. You can collect those responses and their feedback, and then be able to review those results as a department or with the individual student personally, so that you can then help them grow and excel. So what platform does it run on? Well, again, it's one of the web-based webXR platforms that you can get out on the market today. You can host it on eNetReality site itself, or export your experience to a learning management system. It can run on any headset that can run or connect to a modern browser. And then there's an Android and an Oculus app available, which aren't necessary for developing or getting to the application, but get you to some different sets of features available through those apps. And so what are the benefits? Well, you use your custom 3D models, videos, and images so that you can best represent the area or the specific use case that you're trying to put your student or your team member through. So in my case, it could be an OR suite, and there's a new OR tech, and we need to ensure that they understand all the pieces of equipment, how they're utilized and what they're for. I can actually go and take that 360 photo in the OR suite that that particular person will be working in, and then identify each specific component and walk them through it. You can upload and utilize video that they can play back during the experience. And then, where the real power is with the eNetReality platform is the assessment piece, right? Being able to collect the information from the student as they're going through the assessment and having that information when it's complete. You have a lot of tools at your disposal: text-to-speech capabilities, time-based events, hotspots and selection tools. But again, it's the outcomes, the assessments, that's the real power here. And we'll go into this in more depth in a minute. And so we're actually going to run through, I'm going to play one of the tutorials for eNet here that I think best represents all the tools that are available within eNet's platform for you to use in your trainings.
Once you've uploaded your first scene inside of your project, you can check out the image. So for example, here, I can scroll all the way around to see what this image looks like within the tool. This is really useful, so you can see what others are going to see. If you want to see that in a broader view, you can actually review up here on the top right-hand side. So here you can actually see it full screen. So if I were inside this experience, inside of the headset or on a desktop, this is actually what it would look like. Now, because I'm in a desktop, you can see that I'm basically clicking and dragging, but in the headset, you would be able to move around your head, and wherever you looked, then that's where you would be looking. So let's just go ahead and exit out of this. So let's say, for example, I wanted to add some type of media here. So let's just double click, and that brings up this media bar. So if I wanted to, I can add it there, or I can click on Add Media. It brings up the same toolbar. I personally like double clicking just because it's easier. So taking a look at the different types of media, there's going to be audio. So for example, I've put audio to this video that you're currently watching. So you can actually do an audio. So for example, if you just wanted audio in the background while somebody is looking around, describing this location, you could do that. For hotspot, so a hotspot is a small eye icon that you can place where somebody could actually click on it, and it could link to another scene or such. Images, so let's say, for example, I wanted to make it so then that way I could click on a rock and an image would populate. So then that way it would teach me more about that specific type of rock or certain tree, etc. For the object selection tool, so this is where if you wanted somebody to identify something within that actual scene, so rather than inserting an image or a hotspot, it would be actually selecting something in the background. So for example, if you wanted them to identify all of the bushes in the scene or all of the rocks in the scene, that would probably be very difficult in this one. But you could actually select that using the object selection tool. You can insert a quiz, which is multiple questions with you can add whether it shows the answers or not, and whether or not it will showcase the score at the end. A single question is similar to a quiz, but it is just that, one single question. You can also add text. So for example, if you wanted to welcome individuals into this specific scene, you could actually say welcome, or add text so then that way they can read. Sometimes that can actually add to accessibility. You could also add a video. So for example, if you wanted to showcase what this scene actually looks like at the very top. So for example, it could be a walkthrough of my time walking through this park. And you could click on the actual video and see it. And actually watch it while you have this background. And then you could also insert a 3D model. So for example, if you wanted to insert a 3D model of maybe some weeds or maybe plants that don't belong, and you could actually have the individuals click on those 3D models to have them disappear, like you're pulling weeds or something. There's a lot of different, or you could actually even make it so then that way it's hazards. Since we're just nature-based, that kind of makes sense for this one.
Okay. Well, that gives you an example of all the different media types that you can add to the specific scene and how you can quiz and ask questions to the participant as they proceed through the experience. So what is the secret sauce? Well, again, I believe that the capability to do these customized, unique experience, tailor-made to the specific, unique need that you have in your particular industry or business setting is very powerful. And the ability to put a student or a team member in a location and then walk them through some very specific educational requirements and then capture that information at the end is very, very powerful. And then this LMS integration in the user reports, right? This tracking of compliance. And again, I'm in healthcare, so compliance is a big, big deal. And I know it's becoming more and more so across almost all industries. And the ability to show that your student went through certain material and actually understood and got the needed information is incredibly important. I can tell you that we go through an annual mandatory set of trainings that can take up to 4 hours over a period of weeks to get done. And I could see that material being much more effectively communicated and having a much higher retention rate using a tool like eNetReality versus the current PowerPoint process that I might be going through right now. And so what's the cost of ownership? Well, this is from the eNetReality site. You can see an annual plan for unlimited scenes, unlimited projects, the ability to publish to API and SCORM, file storage, distribution, all of this, $3,250 a year. Now this, can vary whether you're a very small business or a very large business. But I think in relation to some of the other tools that I've looked at and reviewed and some of the other cost schemes, this is quite reasonable for a very effective low code, no code tool set that pretty much any knowledgeable educator, somebody with a little bit of technological knowledge and acumen could pick up very quickly and utilize and start creating very effective learning modules for your organization and your employees. And so what do I think about this? Well, you know where XR for Work is coming from, and that the consumption of information, retention of information within VR, has no competition. And I think eNetReality is a great, almost perfect tool for those very specific, very quick to develop types of learning and training scenarios that we often frequently have to address with students and team members. I think it's a great tool from its ability to understand how it works, to put the components together, to even capture and create your own 360 photos, has all become very consumer level at this point. So I think a organization or a school could get up and running with this very, very quickly. Flow and ergonomics don't have much to do here. Social and collaboration, this is a individual single user experience that I could tell. And then I just think is a absolutely fantastic value. And so if you are interested in looking at and using immersive technologies for your training needs in your industry, in your business, or in your professional capacity, it's well worth a look and a demo with the eNetReality group. All right. Well, that's it for our presentation today. As always, I really appreciate you stopping by here at XR for Work, and hope you'll continue to check in for our hopefully more frequent updates for these platforms, apps, and technologies that we're all very excited to start using in our professional careers. Thanks very much. Take care, and we'll see you in the metaverse. Bye now.